So, hi everyone. I'm Sarah, and this is Watson. And so today I'm going to be asking him some questions about songwriting, and he is an artist. And yeah, so why don't you tell everyone like where you're from and just like some things about like you as an artist and kind of how you got into it.
Sure. Well, hey, my name's Watson. I'm originally from Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, which is an hour west of Philadelphia. And yeah, I've been playing music as long as I can remember. I moved to Nashville to go to Belmont um, back in 2018, so I've been here full time now for a little under a year. Like my home base is not Nashville, but yeah, I played in bands all growing up, and now I am doing the solo artist thing and putting out my debut full length later this year. And yeah, it's about that's about my music journey in a nutshell. Um, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So, cool fact. I think I had known this before. You're from Wyomissing or whatever, but I'm from Lancaster. So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah,
not that far.
I go to Lancaster all the time when I'm home. My buddies run a coffee shop out at Shady Maple, so I'm like out that
Wait,
way.
is it Twin Valley?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Chris is a really good buddy of mine, and I love Twin Valley Coffee.
Yeah, my one of my friends, she helped run it when it was in the little gazebo they used to have it in.
Yeah, yeah, out by like actual Twin Valley School and all that.
Yeah, one of my close friends used to work at that one.
Yeah, if I didn't go with the tea this morning, I would be drinking Twin Valley Costa Rica blend that's in my cabinet right now. So
Yeah.
that oh, well, that's so funny.
Okay, so first question is, when did you start? You kind of said when you started songwriting, but like, what really got you like into it, and like, what about songwriting kind of drew you in that you're like, I want to do this as a career?
Sure. So I've been writing music probably since like I should say seriously by like high school. That I was like, oh, like I've always loved music, and I would be like the kid at like the after school band programs that would just
Mm-hmm.
shred. But I started writing music and being more of like a frontman aspect in high school. And I think what drew me into it the most is like I'm very much a people person. I love connecting with people, and I feel like music has such a way of binding people together that I feel like I'm so sorry.
You're so fine. It's okay.
My sister's calling me. She's probably saying that she's going to Twin Valley right now. So
You're good.
I'm so sorry.
You're
She's probably just getting stoked about the ice toddies or whatever. But I started, yeah. So I've just realized that music is such a way to impact people. It's such a way to bind people together. I think in a way that really I don't think any other profession really can. Um, so yeah, I just really wanted to be a part of that, and I think the community aspect of music is something unlike anything. Um, so in relation to songwriting, I just wanted to connect with people through the words that I write and be able to actually make a meaningful connection with people um, through these songs. And I think that's really just what drew me in. It's just the connection aspect. So
fine. So something random is like, did you read a lot as a kid? Because I know like a lot of songwriters, some will talk to you, they're like, yeah, I read a lot as a kid, and other ones are like, no, I didn't. So I don't know, like, how did that like affect you?
yeah, I'm super not the reader at all.
Yeah.
Like that is not my forte. I had like a reading and writing disorder growing up, so I actually just like can't read. Like I'm just like not good at it. But I've tried to get more into it as of recent. Because I feel like just like outside of music, I feel like words have such a way to impact people,
Mhm.
whether it's like what you're saying or the things that you are seeing and reading. Um, so I've tried to read more in my college years, but yeah, growing up, I didn't really read that much other than, the Maze Runner like 17 times himself.
Mhm. No, my can kind of relate to it. My older brother. He like had a reading kind of disability and stuff, so like he couldn't. And so when my mom had me, she was like, "You need to read all the time because I'm not going through this again with you." And so she like forced me to read from as long as I remember, and I actually ended up liking it. But yeah, I've been trying recently to get more back into it because I feel like I've seen it like affect my songwriting more and be like, also because I feel like I don't have enough going on in my life. I'm like, I need to make stuff up somewhere. So
Yeah. And I think like especially in a time like this, like I definitely write from personal experience, and I'm very much not gonna write anything that's fabricated. Like I'm not gonna write a song about a fictional breakup that I had. I'm gonna write about a real one. Or I'm gonna write about something as stupid as like the peanut butter and jelly sandwich I ate for lunch. You know what I mean? But like something that's like that actually happened. I'm not writing about PB and J, but you're getting it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But yeah, good stuff.
So that kind of leads into like the next question, because you kind of said like picking things just to write about, even if it's like nothing important, but just things that are like in your life and like relevant. What's like your kind of not formula, but like if you're having like a writer's block, like what do you like suggest to like, because people who are watching this are like new songwriters and stuff. What would you suggest like is something that you do that you think is helpful when you have like writer's block and you need to pick apart inspiration from just anything you can find?
Totally. Something that's big for me that I would, anybody who really asks me that question, like, what's your secret? I first off don't have a secret. I just write songs. But specifically, if I'm in like a writer's block, I just really get vulnerable and really write about the things that I'm experiencing, whether that is something as surface level as like me hanging out with my friends and having a good time, or something as deep as like struggling with something. I feel like the more vulnerable you can get, the more authentic and raw it feels when you're making music, and I think that stands out a lot more in the grand scheme of people who are doing the same thing, especially in a town like Nashville. I feel like a lot of like the bigger music that you hear on the radio and stuff is very fabricated, and like it's a lot of like people trying to make someone feel something specific, like trigger something. But I think that the best thing you can do for your writing is to be yourself. And if like, that'll definitely stand out over something that didn't happen to you, because you'll be able to see it like in the song you put out or the live show you see, or just in the words that you're saying. It will be way more impactful. So to answer your question, to sum that up in some cohesive way, I would think vulnerability is where I would start. Just really be true to what you feel and be true to the words that you're saying. I think that would get you way farther than any sort of songwriting formula that people try to create.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. That's something that like I think I've discovered as like a songwriter, and also just even before I like really got into songwriting, is like in high school I like would struggle like being vulnerable and stuff, like and feeling like if I wrote songs that were too vulnerable, people would be like scared, or they'd be like, why is she being so overly emotional? And that's something like I've always been like, oh, like I don't want to come off as like someone who's crazy or like overly emotional. But I've realized like the beauty of being a songwriter is like you can do that, and like you kind of have to, and like that's how you're going to reach people, and like you said, kind of stand out from like the basic stuff that's always out now. So yeah, it's definitely something like I totally agree with, is like just I've always told people that too, like just be vulnerable and like open when you're writing, because it really will touch people then, because like the job of a songwriter is to kind of like say the things that normal people don't want to say out loud.
Absolutely. I think like those emotions that you have too, like while you're writing, are the most valid thing ever. Like you don't know that someone might hear that song and needed to hear those words. Everybody struggles with something, whether people believe it or not. Everyone has their insecurities or their things that they go through life carrying. And yeah, the power of music really heals people in ways I can't comprehend. So yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to ask is what's something that you think, it's you kind of answered it with just like the inspiration thing, but like something that maybe that you really think you and other songwriters that you know have struggled with during quarantine, and like how you've like kind of worked through those struggles with like being a songwriter.
Totally. I especially in quarantine, like I mentioned before, I'm very much a people person. Like I'm very much like go hang out with people, and that's how I kind of fill my cup. So not having that in quarantine made it super difficult to create music because it's like, oh, I'm not experiencing life right now. I'm just like waking up, sitting on my couch, watching some TV show, and then eating dinner and going to bed. And that's like it for like 2.5 months. So
Yeah.
I think that's definitely something that I struggle with a lot. And like a lot of my friends who are also doing music had the same problem. It's definitely hard to try to pull creativity from just like nothing. And definitely as the world starts to open back up, content will be easier to create. Like I said, I'm releasing a record later this year, and I wrote most of it during COVID time. Like I started writing just at the end of quarantine before I moved to Nashville full time, and wrote most of it in this bedroom with these guitars and whatnot. And I think that a big testament to that is that I was able to see people and I was able to experience life in a COVID safe way, obviously. But being able to just have any sort of like human interaction. And I'm still have no idea how to humanly interact with people anymore because I haven't done it for so long, and I'm still trying to figure out how to, even say hey to people and not be just, it's such a weird thing trying to like transition back into seeing people when you haven't seen people for so long. Cause I'm like, would see my mom, my dad, and my sister, and that would be it. And now I'm like seeing a bunch of different people every day, and I'm like, oh, hey, like, and like I have no idea how to socially interact with them. But yeah, I think that definitely my biggest struggle was just not being able to experience life to the fullest with like human interaction and stuff like that, or even just like going to do things. Like the things that probably kept me sane was just like going on hikes or like being able to just like to like appreciate the little things that I took for granted all growing up. Like especially just like coming back to Nashville, I'm like, I didn't realize like how little of a thing that I took for granted was like going to get coffee with somebody. I'm like, oh, I would go do that like a couple times a week. And now like when we were in quarantine, I was like, oh, like I'm not seeing anybody. And that's tough. And I think for anybody, whether you're a musician or an artist or any sort of just person, I mean, it's tough to like have to change your lifestyle very quickly and without warning. So definitely thankful for the space I have now and the friends that I have, and like being able to experience life with them now. And that's been super inspiring. But yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I feel like anyone I've talked to who's a songwriter, like, kind of during COVID, like, everyone just kind of like stopped everything because, like you said, there was no, like, even like the little things for me, like, I was just upset that I couldn't even take like a trip to Target, and I was like, this is so stupid. I was like, I just want to like go out and do something normal, and like you said, get coffee or just, and even going back home, I was like, I can't even see any of my friends. So I was like, this is just so weird. I was like, I haven't been like this secluded like since I was a kid. I feel like where I just like I have no control, like I can't leave the house. And so I definitely relate to that. And I feel like most people do. And like especially as a songwriter, like you said, like even just like living and doing little daily things is inspiring in a way. And so like staring at the wall, I'm just like, it's like I don't know what to write about. It's like I've written about like anything I could find in this house. And I was like, I don't know what else to like do. Sometimes I was like, I just need to make something happen in this house right now. So like I have something to write about. But yeah, like I definitely relate to that, especially like for me, like I was a freshman last year when all this stuff happened. So like I felt like I had just started to experience college things and then was cut off during spring break. And then I was like, and then I was forced to go home and I was like, what is going on? And so then I felt like I just didn't know where to draw my inspiration from at the time. And so that's also why I kind of started getting back into reading because I was like, I have nothing to write about right now. I was like, I need to at least like make my brain work in some way. And TV. I was like, this is the most action I'm getting for the next 2 months is like TV shows and reality TV.
Straight up, all the story. We're just living carelessly through other people.
Yeah.
Fictional or non-fictional TV shows, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I watched way too many TV, like movies, things, and TV, like movie series and stuff, just to like have things go in my brain. So what's like your advice to a new songwriter? Because like the people watching this, like I said before, are most likely people who are kind of like in between. They're like, I don't know if like I want to do this as a career. And they're probably like high school age even where they're like, I don't know if I want to go to college for this.
Mhm.
Because like I know personally, like that's something I struggled with is like, do I want to go to college for something like normal or do I want to go to college for like something that I'm passionate about? Um, and so like what would your advice be to someone who's like in between that right now and doesn't know what path to take and like maybe like what made you choose this path?
Totally. I mean, my advice just in that aspect is do something you're passionate about. Like you in like a profession or education, like you want to wake up in the morning and be absolutely pumped for what you're doing. And like not every day's gonna be perfect. Like I'm a music business major and I love every second of it, but also in that sense, like I definitely do struggle with like classes and I'm like it's not every day it's gonna be perfect because that's not how life is supposed to be. We're supposed to struggle and we're supposed to have hardships because it helps us grow. Um, but yeah, my advice for that would be do the thing you love. Like don't settle because that will kick you in the butt in the long run for sure. You want to be excited about what you're doing. You want to wake up and be like, oh, I get to go do this today.
Mhm.
Like that's why I'm not a doctor. Like I don't want to. Like I would wake up and be like, oh, I gotta go into the office. I gotta
Mhm.
go do surgery on a few people today, and I'm like, that doesn't sound that fun to me. And like kudos to people who do that. They're the ones who save lives and do amazing things for the world. But that's not my profession. It's not what I am about. I'm passionate about playing those guitars and making music for people, which is why I'm following that profession. That's why I am creating the things I want to create and going to school for music business and being in Nashville. And um, but yeah, that's my advice. Just do the thing you're passionate about. Like don't try to do something that you aren't gonna be happy about. Like if
Mhm.
you're passionate about songwriting, you should totally do it. Um, and something that I mean, if there's like something that has helped me in that too, in just like continuing to like perfect my craft or like be able to continue to like create more efficiently.
Mhm.
Um, started writing like right when I wake up in the morning, whether that's like journaling or just like writing something down that like has a thought like from a dream or whatever. Like that is so has started a lot of songs for me. Um, just being able to like have repetition and be able to be like, oh, this is what happened this day, and then flip back to that and be like, oh, that could be a cool idea for this, and like it turns into this, and I'm like, that's definitely something that has helped me more like continue having motivation to write music and to create things that feel authentic to me. Um, but yeah, if that is advice to do that, you should do that too. But definitely like do the thing you're passionate about. Like be pumped about the things you're creating and be pumped about writing. Or about whatever career you want to go down. If that's writing, you should do it for sure.
Yeah. No, when it comes to like the writing every time you wake up and stuff, that's something like I've like tried to live by for the last couple months. Especially during quarantine, is like there's this book I got in one of my classes by Gillian Welsh, and it was like every morning, like when you wake up, like write for like 10 minutes, set your timer, like 5 to 10 minutes, and just like write mindlessly, just so you're working those muscles. And then like throughout the rest of the day, like you're kind of going to be working, your brain's going to start working like a songwriter. You'll pick up on things that you maybe wouldn't have if you didn't like start your day off like that. And that's something like I've like really tried to live by. And I feel like it's definitely, I've seen the difference of like my writing and like just picking up like phrases more often and like words and just titles of things. It's been like really helpful. And I think like even for someone who's like not really creative, like that's just a good way to like start to be creative is just like start writing like and just journaling because like that's also helps me like start the day in like a fresh page, like a fresh page. And like also like if I have dreams, sometimes like it's easier to write down quick so then I have like some like ideas going on. So because I'm like a nighttime writer usually, and like that's when my brain's the most awake and like I stay up to like 3 a.m. writing. And so that kind of like gives me ideas. So when I get back at the end of the day at night when I'm in my room, I can like already have ideas listed and kind of go off those. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and also when it comes to like the whole career thing, funny enough, my dad, he is a doctor, but he gave me advice when I was like younger, and he's like, I saw him, he was like not really happy with it. And he was like, look, he's like, I just want you to do something that you're passionate about. He's like, if you don't want to go to college, don't do that. And he's like, if you want to do like music, and I always wanted to do music. So he's like, he was really encouraging. He was just like, do that. He's like, don't do something because you think like it will make money and like you'll be happy doing that. Like he's like, do something you're passionate about. And like he's like, I'd rather like you struggle financially and be happy than like do all this other stuff that I did and like not be happy at the end of the day. And so that was
Yeah.
something really encouraging growing up, is like seeing that firsthand and being like, and he was like, I don't even believe in college sometimes. He's like, just do what you want to do. He's like, just be passionate. So
Your dad rocks for that. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm wholeheartedly. That's what I've always believed, and that's my parents told me the same thing growing up. They wanted a golfer, they didn't get it. They got a musician.
mhm.
But yeah, I don't feel like happiness can come with a price tag.
No.
I think happiness comes from the life you get to live and the things that you're passionate about and the things that fuel you to wake up in the morning. But yeah, totally.
Yeah, and that's something I encourage like anyone listening is like, if you have like, because I know I've struggled being surrounded by people who are going to college like at home for like more stable jobs, like things like not like and very important jobs like nursing and being teachers and stuff, great jobs. And I encourage anyone who's passionate about that to do that. But if you're not and you're called to music and you feel like this doesn't seem like the most stable thing for me to do, but I really want to do it, like you only live like one time. That's really cheesy, but go for it. And the worst that happens, and parents have always told me this, just you'll have to go back to school. They're like, the worst happens is you're married and you have kids and you realize this just didn't really take as far as you wanted, then you just go back to school.
Yeah.
Like, and you can just go for another 2 years and get a degree in something else because you already have like your gen eds and stuff done. So like that's something that's always been really encouraging, is like school will always be there and it really will. And you can always go back to it. But like your passions and your dreams won't be. And like it's better to live them out now. And like if it goes somewhere, that's great. And if it doesn't, like there's no regrets in that because you grew as a person. And like music will always also be there too, even if it's not like in a way that you vision it to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, this has been great, and thank you so much.